Hello friends, my name's Emile and welcome back to some more Forza Motorsport 6. Today I figured I would do a car build, and considering this is my first proper video of 2016, I thought I'd do one of my favourite cars in the Forza franchise. This is the Ford County Squire. Now this is a very cool car. I really like the way this one looks. It's kind of like an old 60s station wagon, but apparently it had some like pretty big engine in it, 390 apparently. It actually produces a pretty decent amount of horsepower. I'll just go and double check it before we start building it. One thing I didn't notice is that actually the back seats are actually here in the trunk. I didn't actually know that was a thing with the County Squire. I didn't actually know that's where the other back seats were, but apparently that's where they are, so yeah. No seatbelts, of course. Actually, no, they are seatbelts. There's none in the front by the looks of it, because this is a 60s car. Overall, I just really like the County Squire. It's such a fun vehicle to mess about with. The horsepower on it is actually pretty decent from stock. I mean, 315 horsepower out of a car from the 1960s is pretty good. Not too sure on the actual engine size. It doesn't really tell me. But 390, that's Americans use cubic inches, I believe, when it comes to measuring engines. We don't, so yeah. You'll have to work that one out for yourselves. Anyways, I don't think we're going to be sticking with the stock engine. I mean, as good as it is an all 0 to 60 in 8 seconds isn't actually that bad. I do want to change it, so we've got a choice of a 7 litre V8 Hemi or a 5.9 litre V8 racing engine. I think I want to play around with the Hemi today. I haven't really used the Hemi in anything, so we're going to play around with that today. We're also going to supercharge it, because the supercharger is the only way to have your Hemi, right? I'm thinking of sort of making this kind of like an old school build, so try not to use too many like hyper modern parts or anything like that, if that makes any sense. I think we are going to have some front aero on this. Not too sure what class we're going to be building this to yet. I do like that roof rack, but I think we might need the wing, which is a very silly wing. I don't understand that wing either, but there you go. We could put muscle car hood on it, but I'm not going to because they look terrible. Now, it is running on white walls, and I do really want to keep the white wall tyres, actually, so I'm not sure on that one. I don't know if to just leave the stock tyres on, but improve the widths on them. And then make this sort of like a C-class racing car, maybe? Just like a high horsepower one. See how that goes, maybe. I want to keep it retro, so yeah. We are going to slam this bitch to the ground. Probably take some more height out the suspension as well later on. We are going to have a roll cage because it's an old car, it needs one. And weight reduction because it's a fat car. Right, next thing, I do want to get the cams on just so we can push that rev range out a bit. Yeah, like so. And then I don't really know. We'll just find something to wrap this build up, really. Ooh, gearbox. Did I put the gearbox in? No. Right, we're going to have a gearbox in here because it needs a gearbox. And a differential. But other than that, I think we're pretty much built up. I don't want to change the tyres on this. Look how much it puts the PI up by if we do anyways. So I'm going to leave the tyres stock and just have the big widths on them. And then we'll just throw a little bit more power into this. This is a bit of a daring build here. I mean, C-Class, 532 horsepower. It is a lot in a C-Class car. I mean, most C-Class cars I run are barely touching 200 horsepower, and this one's at 532. So I'm kind of curious to see how the County Squire copes with its power. It doesn't actually weigh that much either. 3,500 pounds isn't actually that bad. So it's done 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. Right. Well, the first thing we need to do is drag these gears in. I don't know why the race gearbox is so fantastically broken on Forza 6, but it is. So, yeah. I should have really put one size higher than the other, but I'm not going to. We are going to improve the downforce on this a bit, just so we can get more downforce, because I think that's what we're going to need. So, what's our actual final thing then? 4.8 seconds to 60, 150 mile an hour top speed. That's pretty good. That's actually really good. It looks fantastic. Oh, it looks so stupid. but I love it. Right, anyway, let us go. Now, where are we actually going to go? Yeah, for this car, I do want to race around an American track. Circuit of the Americas, maybe. I don't really know Circuit of the Americas too well. Let's go for the west route. So it's a slightly smaller track. 3 laps, that sounds pretty decent to me. I can certainly deal with that. We'll set these to... We'll set them to expert because I've tried setting them to pro recently and it just isn't working out for me. Mind you, I've only really been doing the endurance races here in Forza 6. I haven't really been doing too many of the normal races or anything like that, so yeah. Oh, apparently that's not going to work. Okay, was going to adjust something quickly because I think the game audio might be slightly quiet for this, but whatever. Yeah, it feels weird making videos again. It might take a couple of days for me to just get my smoothness back. I've noticed that while I'm recording this. I'm a little bit jumpy here and there, but hopefully that it should all come back to me soon. I'm going to try and do, I wouldn't say daily, but you know, should we say every 2 days, I'm going to try and do, ooh, brake experts. Wait, I did upgrade the brakes, didn't I? I hope I upgraded the brakes, and I wish I'd actually searched that. Right, there is starting 22nd place. There we go, that's all we're going to have. Let's do this. We're racing against... To be fair, actually, that Jeep doesn't have too much less power than this does. I can't really hear the engine at the moment, so... Okay, off the line, we are exceptionally good, apparently. Okay. I'll take that, sure. We are actually... Oh, God, okay. The brakes are not good. The brakes are not good on the County Squire. Okay, maybe I should have set them to a bit of a higher difficulty, because apparently I am just completely destroying them. I do have to say, the handling on this car is pretty decent, to say... you know, how much power it's got and so on. It actually isn't too bad. You can put the power down quite early out of the corner. Like, you do have to be careful with it, obviously. It's a, you know, it's a rampaging 60s estate car with 500 horsepower. But it's not actually that bad. I mean, I've driven a lot worse cars from stock with actually less power than this. So, probably drives better than it does stock as well. I haven't really played around with the County Squire too much. This does need to go around the Top Gear test track at some point. I'm not quite sure when we're going to be throwing around some of the more ancient muscle cars. That's sort of one category of car we haven't really had round. These corners are actually really... You know, this car should not be coping with these types of corners, but it is. The only issue I've got is the brakes are not very good. So while we're going around these corners, I am extremely fast on like the little straight bits, but then as soon as we come to like the to the actual corner, I just outbrake myself and they end up going past again. Woo, we've got a bit of a sail going on. This is of course a big land boat, land ship, whatever you want to call it. So it's a big vehicle. I thought I was going to take the front end off that Alfa Romeo then. That would have been costly. It's got nice gear ratios as well, very quick and easy, straight through the gears, straight into 6th gear. Coming up here, it's got... This is about as far as you could probably... Let me try that sentence again. This is probably as far as you can push a C-Class car, as far as sort of the power goes. I think any more power than what I've got in this, and it wouldn't be going quite as well as it is. If I didn't put those full tyre whips on, certainly, this car would not be very nice. Aerodynamics, I think they do matter. I would kind of like to try this without the wing and the front splitter, just to see how it actually handled. But I think the front splitter is helping this car out immensely, because it does feel like this car would have massive understeer issues There is certainly some understeer present. Ooh. And I'm sure the front downforce is probably helping with that front braking as well. Rear downforce, to be fair, this car doesn't feel that slidey, so I don't actually know how much of an effect that's having on the vehicle. I don't know if it's just sort of slowing it down or something. So that's sort of one of the only things I'd change about this build is actually the rear spoiler. I would quite like that to sort of... I would quite like to put a lot less downforce on the rear spoiler. Probably leave it at its stock thing. I mean, I'm sliding it now, but I'm going full throttle round that corner. You know, that shouldn't really be happening in a 550 horsepower land yacht, but it is. This car's actually quite incredible. Yeah, certainly. I would kind of like to see how this car shapes up against my other C-Class cars. That might be something I have to try out. I am thinking of sort of doing like a budget series. So maybe that'll be part of the builds. Maybe that'll go back to the Project Cars series I started, which isn't on Project Cars, just to confirm, because why would I want to play Project Cars? Ooh, we got a bit of a slide on there. So yeah, I'm thinking of bringing like the Project Cars series back, where I sort of do like a cheap car build and see if it actually works out. Race it against something maybe. It's kind of similar to this series, but it's on a budget. And we'll try and race like some proper race cars, so maybe do like budget touring cars or something. I've gone wide there. I do quite like Circuit of Americas actually. This is one of those tracks where, like, when I first looked at the layout of this track, I was like, oh, this is going to be such a horrible track. I'm going to absolutely hate driving around here. But I'm actually not that bad at Circuit of Americas. Yeah, I don't want to blow me in trumpet or anything, but I'm not bad at Circuit of Americas, which is something I was not expecting when I first loaded up Forza 6. Anyways, I think for the next car build, I've got an idea of what I want to do. I want to try out the Plymouth Fury, because there's an interesting engine swap I want to try out. I might film that today, to be honest with you. But the Ford County Squire is good. Yeah, it's exceptional, actually. Which is something I wasn't expecting to say. We're off the track. We're sliding again. Yeah, Ford County Squire, good car. Good car, this, actually. I am curious to see how this would do against some of my other C-Class cars. Very interested, in fact, to see how this would perform as we go into the final corner. I'm definitely going to have to put the AI difficulty up for the next car build, that's for certain. Because we have just smoked them completely. Yeah. I think the difficulty might have been a bit low on that, but I can't really re-record it because that would ruin the surprise of just how nice the County Squire is to drive. Anyways, friends, I want to thank you all very much for watching. My name's been the Real Emile. Until next time, farewell.